Gospel of the Lord, November the 25th, 2013, Luke 21, 1-4. Looking up, the Lord saw rich people putting their offerings into the treasury, and he noticed a poverty-stricken widow putting in 2 small coins. And he said, I tell you truly, this poor widow has put in more than any of them. For these have all put in money they could spare, but she, in her poverty, has put in all she had to live on. Gospel of the Lord, praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Imagine the scene. The Lord is at this beautiful temple in Jerusalem, and there is this treasury, this special contraption where the priest had devised in order for the offering to be noise, to make a lot of noise, to be a noisy offering, so that the rich people would be enticed to put a lot of money there, competing with each other on who would make more noise by the larger offering that they were able to put in there. And there comes this poverty-stricken widow and puts in 2 small coins. Perhaps those 2 coins did almost not do or make any noise. But the Lord, Jesus, God, is watching. And he tells his disciples and us too, I tell you truly, this poor widow has put in more than any of them. And we would have to say, Lord, all of them have put many, many coins, worth a lot of money. And this woman, this poor widow, just put in 2 small coins. What are you talking about, Lord? But he would again tell us, all these rich people have put in money they could spare. But she in her poverty has put in all she had to live on. We could immediately say that is very unreasonable. What was she thinking about? How could she do that? How is she going to live today or tomorrow? Because we are so accustomed of putting things in perspective, of being so rational. But faith and love transcend, go beyond reason. And that's what happens here. The rich people have their confidence in the material possessions that they have, in the money in the bank, the checking book, the credit line, the type of work they have, the type of business they have, the type of investments they have, their 401k. That's where they put their confidence. But this poverty-stricken widow is realizing what that beautiful commandment in Deuteronomy number 6 tells us. You shall love your God with all your conscience, with all your life, and with all your strength. That is my own personal translation. I know it says with all your soul, with all your life, with all your strength. But I like to translate directly from the Hebrew. You shall love God with all your conscience, with all your life, with all your strength. This is exactly what that commandment means, being performed fully on this poverty-stricken widow. Because the rich people would not compromise what they have, putting too much money, only what they could spare. They couldn't even feel it. It was just some extra money that they had hanging around. But for her, for the poverty-stricken widow, those 2 little coins were all she had to live on. So she decided to give it back to God. She understood by faith that God was going to provide for her. It is very important that she was a widow, Being a widow, she had no one to sustain her. She had no husband. And further, she was poverty stricken, so she didn't have any means, any material means. All she had was her faith on God. But she had the greatest thing, or rather the greatest person in the universe, which is God Himself. Where do you, my dear brother or sister, put your confidence? What is this that I'm talking about? I'm not telling you to go ahead and just empty your checking account or your savings account. That's not what I'm telling you. And that is not what the Lord is asking. Just realize that He is not impressed by the amount of money that the rich people do put in there. He is impressed by the confidence, by the faith of the poverty-stricken widow. How do we translate that to our nowadays, to our everyday situation? We should be able to put our trust, to put our confidence in God every single day, to put our lives, our conscience, every act of every day before God, and to try to do it in such a way that pleases Him, not just you or a few of your friends. It has to please. We have to please God. We have to do what He's asking us. We have to listen to Him. We have to pray to Him. We have to commune Him. We have to take His body and eat it in the Holy Communion, in the Eucharist. And we also have to do works of charity. And in that, the time that we would spend on Him should not be what we can spare, but all our time, to have Him inside our mind, inside our conscience, inside our hearts every single day, every single time of our life. That is to love Him before everything and above everything. With all your conscience, with all your life, and with all your strength. May the Lord be merciful enough that He should light up our intelligence and lead us to where we understand what He wants us to do every single day. And may we meet in heaven in the end of the times. God bless you all, brothers.